All right, thank you for staying with us on Good Morning Nigeria. Up next for us is newspaper review.
Our newspaper reviewer Chukudi Okoli Abuja is seated here in the studio. Good morning, Chooks, the boy.
Good morning and welcome back to the show.
Thank
I've
you.
not seen you for almost 1 week.
A little bit under the weather.
I know. These days you could actually be forced under the climate. It's understandable.
I haven't seen you in more than 48 hours.
Yes. You want to take over mischief from who now? Victor, good morning.
Good morning.
It's time for newspaper review.
Okay,
Please.
let's go to the leadership newspaper. We're beginning with it. Above the masthead, we have Gaza. Nigeria backs Biden's ceasefire proposal. Find the details on page 16. We're beginning with the leadership newspaper. You can see it on air, yes, you can see it on your TV set now. And Zenith Bank, Adiora Umar G, new tenure as GMD sparks optimism. Details on page 2. And just below the masthead, NAS vows to protect 650,000 barrel per day Dangote refinery. You find the details on page 7. June 12, Atiku Obi Kwankwaso to address democracy rally. Details on page 25. And the headlines in the leadership newspaper: electricity tariff, life-saving services threatened in teaching hospital. With riders, we pay between 2.5 and 4 million daily to discuss CMD's lament. Stakeholders seek special tariff regime for health sector, and Lagos government switches hospitals to own power plant. And a side piece of the picture story you see there, Nigeria's trade surplus rises by 79% to 6.52 trillion naira in first quarter. Details on page 23. Niger Delta ex-agitators beg for increase in amnesty stipends. Find that on page 22. Northern elders seek National Pastoralist Commission. Details on page 6. Nigeria, US discuss climate funding for green industrial push. Details on page 7. Let's quickly go to the national economy, and above the masthead, FX reforms vital for Nigerian foreign investment. That's coming from Fitch. It's on page 5. Nigeria, US lawmakers demand Biden's secure release of Biden's executive. Find the details on page 5. And just below the masthead, Nigeria's staple food prices surged by 141% in 1 year, with riders' purchasing power of Naira dwindling, and 5.9 million Nigerian children in severe food crisis. You can see the picture story there. There is food, but it is the cash that is the problem here. And at the bottom plate of the national economy, Deep Blue Project as catalyst to Nigeria's maritime development. You find the details on page 18. Vic?
All right, and that takes us to the Vanguard, which has a picture story just at the center of the front page. NAS delegation visits Dangote refinery. Of course, that details President of the Senate, his deputy, and a few others, as well as the governor of Lagos, with Alhaji Aliko Dangote at the refinery, perhaps yesterday. All right, experts see danger around minimum wage battle. That story is on page 5, and it has several riders. President NAS will determine our next action. That's according to Labour. Alleges conspiracy between governor, OPS. ITUC writes Akpabio for labeling strike as act of economic sabotage. And governors, senators, reps should also earn 62,000 naira minimum wage. That's according to Mbaka. Interesting. Basic education, why UBE Act must be reviewed. That's according to Senate and UBEC boss, other stakeholders. That story can be found on page 8. Above the nameplate, airfares prices skyrocket, distort travel plans. That's on page 9, inevitable. How Jonathan, wife, others forced Wike on rivers. That's according to Edwin Clark, page 12. And then you come to the bottom of the front page here. Gunmen abduct 30 passengers in Nasarawa as bandits attack Catholic church in Kaduna, abduct priest. You get details of that on page 6. And then to some sports. Benin versus Nigeria, it's win or bust for Super Eagles. Okay. And finally, Mr. and Mrs. I'm sure Chukwudi would like to hear this.
Yes.
You gave me 7,950 naira for a pot of soup worth 10,000 naira. This is not your first time. If you think because your name is Patrick, you are a patriarch of tricks. My name is Patricia, the teacher. That's according to Mrs.
Mrs.
Are you saying that doomsday married calamity?
Seems like it.
I'd say you're a mischievous man. You never agree with me.
Mr. sounds like you most of the time. And,
You think you're the only one who knows cartoons, eh? Listen to this one. Nigeria Air Project fraudulent remains suspended. That's credited to the aviation minister, Keyamu. And they have this caricature, I think it's actually Keyamu they have in the Ministry of Aviation plane they have there. Beside it, the caption, there's one chance in the air too. You can't beat us on our shows
you can't beat
in terms of creativity.
Exactly. Nigerians
But the alarm is that Nigeria's staple food prices reportedly surged by 141% in 1 year. Victor and Jumai, I went to buy tomato 3 days ago. What my friend Conscience calls the dustbin, the
rubber
dustbin
basket.
measurement, the rubber basket, was sold to me for 14,000 naira. I paid 28,000 naira for two rubber buckets. Does it make any sense?
when I come across tomatoes these days, I tell the people, tell them we are no longer eating tomatoes for now.
Are you serious? What is the substitute for you? Because we want to know. We, the rabble.
Must you eat stew?
Purchasing power of the naira dwindling. They say 5.9 million Nigerian children in severe food crisis. Do you know that I'm beginning to see people?
Million.
I am beginning to see people. I saw those kind of images during the war. People whose heads are beginning to get bigger than the rest of their body. That's malnutrition. We have to really sit up and do something fast, And at the end of the day, when you visit this on the stalemate over minimum wage, you say, hey, we still have some, not crisis, some
Unfinished business.
Unfinished business. Yes, let's euphemize it. Unfinished business ahead of us, because these lingering problems are again going to affect the rate of the economic recovery we all are praying for.
Exactly.
So the earlier organized labor, government, the legislators, they are of course part of the government, they sit together and iron out this minimum wage wahala. I think is going to help us a lot. But food prices, you don't want to get into that territory.
Well, during campaigns, a lot of things are said. I remember the president saying that he was going to give us a living wage during the campaign. And what Nigerians really want is harmonization of salaries. Harmonize the salaries. So the burden is not too much. The agencies, some are collecting 800,000 and some are collecting 30,000 minimum wage. But if you harmonize the salary, the burden will be less.
Do you know I was thinking over the weekend that body language in all of these also matters. Yeah. If members of the National Assembly, for instance, had said, we want to shed 2 million from what we take home at the end of the month, Nigerians will begin to feel, hey, they are empathize with us. They are part of this. They want to bear it with us. So what you do matters a lot too in resolving these matters. After 1 year, for instance, the lawmakers could go back to, and it's not just the lawmakers, the shedding should happen across board.
Indeed.
It will help the people know that everyone is in the same boat concerning this matter.
High food prices, electricity tariff.
Yes,
It's just becoming overwhelming.
Well, let's...
But at the end of the day, love of country supersedes whatever our opinions are.
Exactly.
You must not jettison anything that means future goodness for this country. Because when it is not good for the country, it won't be good for you.
Indeed.
Well, Chooks.
Let's dilute just...
What are you doing?
In a moment, let's dilute...
I'm letting you go.
The gloom a bit with sports. Were you disappointed by the outcome?
Let me say this.
Of the Nigeria-South Africa game?
Let me say this. I know I'm a patriot. God knows I'm a patriot. But there are certain things you do not gloss over. The crop of players we have now, we have younger people which an earnest search will reveal and place us in a better position to tackle our
We need to go back to the Westerval
You keep on seeing
strategy,
those people, you keep seeing... I'm not going to mention names. We have young men that can play for Nigeria.
These are young people
the
too.
The Arsenal model should become everybody's model.
They are already
Chelsea
made.
has
Let's
adopted
look
it.
for hungry players who want to
young
make name.
people who have something to prove.
Yes, who want to make a name for themselves.
It's okay. I hope that...
you want to employ
Chukudi, you have to go.
I hope that Coach Finidi George is listening. Okay, we'll begin our conversation just after this break. Please stay with us.